And if that would happen, hallelujah. We'd all benefit from it.
Yes, we would. Yes, we would.
But until that happens, let's leave it alone. Let's just the way it is.
But you said you wouldn't allow anything here anyway.
No.
I mean, as long as your house is here and that's the view
No,
you
that's
want. I thought that
exactly
was
right.
the main reason.
That's 99%
That's yours.
of the
That's
reason.
my main reason.
Oh, your view of the golf course is what you're saying. Is
Right,
okay.
yeah, they'd be out the window.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I asked. I didn't know what that.
Yeah. But as far as the financial part of it, I really can't see any reason to change it.
Well, this is the golf course.
That is the golf
Yeah.
course. And
Can you
Right.
tell us what your reasons were for wanting to change all of that?
All we did, Bonnie, was as we worked through the comprehensive plan and any proposed planning for the future was to identify areas where there was growth. The southwest corner of the community has always been identified as places for housing and growth and stuff like that.
Exactly right.
So, and the same thing with the school property was, well, if we zone it, it's done. We don't have to look at it for the next 10, 15 years, you know. In the same way north, up along M54. If it's zoned and it's done and people want to come in and build, that's wonderful. We don't have to worry about people coming to the Board of Adjustment and attempting to get, you know, a variance and that type of thing. It's adaptable to that use. And it's not going to change your agriculture use, but it is adaptable to residential for somebody.
And I think, as you stated earlier, in listening to you, you should review this stuff every 5 years or so.
That's what it says, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll look at it in 5 years.
It's taken us 5 years to get to this point.
Well, it shouldn't be much of a job to change that if it needs changing.
Well, and
How difficult is it? What do you have to go through to change this?
to change, if we do less, we don't have to have another public hearing. If we do more, then we have to have another public hearing, is what I've been told. So,
Okay,
If
so
you do less as far as
if we decide to, even if we decide to do the golf course residential and this residential, we don't have to have another public hearing. And leave the rest
Okay, for
agriculture.
this.
Right,
If
right.
if everybody agrees
Right.
that this is okay,
Right.
what we proposed to you tonight,
What they,
then you don't have to have
Right.
another meeting.
And what they tell us is, well, we have to have another meeting, but we don't have to have a public hearing. What they tell us is, like, I have no right to tell the city what to zone where I live. No rights at all. You can zone any piece of property within the corporate limits the way you want it.
And we understand that.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, if you're going to go ahead with...
Well, not us.
It's not us.
We don't have no authority.
You have to propose it to the
We
council
recommend-
first, and then if the council
Yeah.
decides,
Council has
we have
to
nothing
decide.
to
We
say
have to do another public hearing at the council level.
The council has to do a public hearing. but the
I mean, there will,
council-
even if this moves to the council, there will be another public hearing
Okay.
before
what
the
I'm
council.
saying is 5 years from now, if it looks like we really need to have this residential, then you have to go through
We
the...
have to go through the whole process again, yeah.
So, and that takes what, 30, 60 days?
not this time.
Yeah.
Not this time, we've been working on it over a year and a half.
Well, there's,
Well, let me ask you this, what's taken so long?
there's a couple of natural delays. One that we've dealt with this time, and I'm going to guess we would deal with in most cases, would be getting the maps actually updated. How long did that take us?
Our maps were so bad that they didn't have anything to start with.
Hopefully
you know,
that'll
so-
be quicker next
Yeah.
Right, you
in
can
the
do it
future, but
more often, more frequently.
And
But what's the difference then, we're building houses in residential as to the requirement as far as acreage goes, or
in A1 it requires 10 acres.
Yeah.
In residential it doesn't.
doesn't?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's part of our thinking, isn't
Yeah.
it? That
Yeah, we were
somebody
just
would come
hoping
in
to
residential
provide opportunities,
and, yeah,
right.
and not have to buy 10
If we
acres.
decide to do 2 more here.
Well, Well, yeah, that's right. It's contiguous, and I guess you could spot zone it.
Well,
But we're
spot zoning
discouraged
is a
from
dirty,
doing
is a
that.
dirty word
Right.
around here.
Well, I understand that. but, I mean,
everywhere.
Yeah, not just here, but we
That's what it took in a new house to have an expandable taxable base.
You would do
I
it.
wouldn't think that'd be a dirty word.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The problem is
Yeah.
that you do it for one, then you set a precedent, you do it for another, you do it
Yeah,
for another.
but
and it just
we've tried to
continues.
avoid that for 20, 30 years.
And that's not our rule. That
No.
they recommend in all the training, do not spot zone.
Well, there's also a cost associated. Every time we do a map, I mean, like Chris
Public
said,
hearing, yeah.
he actually undercharges us for this go around on the map. There's a charge for the map, there's a charge for
Anyway,
the public hearing.
that's what we'd like to do. And we appreciate the time you
Okay.
spent with us.
West of South 16th Street.
West of South
It would be
16th Street
agreeable
back there
To this
to,
line.
to
yes,
this line here.
to zone that residential.
That's
And do you know where that line is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay.
South
That'd be approximately.
But not all of it,
Yeah,
but
but
not
the-
all of it west.
To the west of it. Do you know
Sure.
what line we're talking about to
Yes.
the west of
I
South
walked
16th?
it last weekend. I walked the complete south boundary of the city last weekend. You seen me the weekend before George was out mowing and I was taking pictures.
Okay.
But
And I walked the whole border. I
So how do we
started at
identify this
the
line,
Army Reserve and I walked
The
clear
back of their
around.
grass.
That's where the
on
farmland
the west
Uh-huh,
end
where the
of
farm-
our house, where we live now, where the farmland starts back there. Now, you know that. Okay, because that isn't exactly where the city limits are.
Well, yeah,
No.
city limits.
The city, I walked all of this, and I started here at the Army Reserve Center, right here. I drove up here, and this, right here, and I walked,
There's the Army Reserve Center.
and I walked, I've driven up here, this is where I walked clear up here to look at Chris's Hammersmith's last weekend.
My dog run.
Your dog run, and then I walked all of this.
That's all, that's your WRP, isn't it, George?
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
yep, right in there. No, I know where all of this is. I talked to Jackie Mailer and Brian in regards to where that hooks on. I've talked to Brian Menser in regards to where his property is on
Okay.
South 16th. I've looked at all of his stakes.
you saw my.
I see them
Yeah,
all.
okay.
Yeah, so where are his stakes?
And his are in line with this, aren't they? Didn't you
Who?
say, Brian mentioned?
Brian's is a 200
No.
square
No,
foot.
no,
Mentor's
just-
is about right there.
Right. It's a 200 square foot
Yeah,
plot.
Oh, and
And
it's,
this would be about
On
400
this.
square,
On the-
about
on the
400
ground?
foot back.
Are we gonna need
Where-
legals? to
where
do
our
this
field
then,
is
since we're cutting
right
parcels
now,
in half? Are we gonna need a
South
legal
of
description?
Sandy Boyle's
Who's
house.
gonna provide the legal description?
The corner that's next to the blacktop.
Yep.
It's the north.
You'll see it right in the ditch, the
East
stake.
corner.
east corner.
Yeah.
Do you have a legal description of that land? Because we'll have to use legal description. If we're gonna divide
I
parcels,
don't know why not.
if we're gonna have to do parcels, we'll need legal descriptions of certain areas. Otherwise, we're gonna be back here doing this, no, it was at that line, and somebody else will be here, and so we're gonna have to have it. We don't do a parcel.
There's a legal description for this here.
For yours,
Because
for
you
your
deeded that
lot.
off to us 15, 20 years ago.
But if
Because you
we,
didn't want to pay the taxes on the buildings anymore.
if we do a line here, we're gonna need some type of legal description, or else we'll have to do the whole parcel, just because.
Call into that, can't we? Brian, or,
Oh, we have to get it surveyed with,
but not survey, just get a,
yeah.
How are you gonna get the
Well, I
survey,
imagine-
legal
I think
stuff
we have to
surveyed?
get it.
You get it
Mayor,
closer
yeah.
to the office to get Brian to measure that
Area
off.
that he wants to resolve.
Oh, I,
You know, he can get it
yeah, with that,
2 or 3 feet.
yeah, with the GPS and
Yeah.
RQ map, they can,
Yeah, I don't think
Get
he'd
it
do
close
it.
enough for
I think
that.
he'd do it for nothing. I think he'd do it for nothing.
Who do it for nothing?
FSA.
That's what I say. But that'd be the way to do it, is to measure it off that way. Because he can just do it this preliminary map there.
and you cut it now.
Get just get that out.
Well, I see nothing wrong with that.
Tell you exactly how many feet.
It'd be west of that 54. So many feet.
So many foot.
Yeah.
So many foot back.
And George said he'd go up to the government office and probably get them to give us that line. The new maps they got in the
Not the
RQ.
editing office,
RQ, they can do that, they get it right down to,
with the GIS.
Sure.
Because otherwise,
Right down about 2 feet, I suppose. It may be even closer than that now. The machines are pretty accurate anymore.
Katie,
so they can just take it right off
if
the,
you
that
drive out,
cut.
Yeah.
if you drive out there, you can see.
Well, you see, they'll have an agricultural
Yeah,
map
yeah.
that's already
Oh,
laid
so
out.
it's gonna
Put
build
in
this
it.
spring, but they-
I'll just have him go a straight line across.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but if
They can print that right off
you
too.
pull in that driveway
And
there.
they can print that off.
Yeah. Well, I feel I'm kind of behind the curve here.
There's a little bit of weeds, I suppose, around it.
I'll get